Welcome, Dr. James Beckett, Sports Card Insights. Got a box from Upper Deck, Skybox Metal Universe Hobby, box of 15 packs, 7 cards in each pack. And who doesn't love Metal Universe? If you've been around a long time like I have, you remember back in the day, and I'm going to evoke some of that and dig back into my archives to give you some historical perspective along with this brand new product that's only been out a month. So thank you, Upper Deck, but thank you also Topps, Panini, Heritage Auctions, Huggins & Scott Auctions, Mike Stadium Sports Cards, Burbank Sports Cards, ComC.com, and Beckett Media, Beckett Grading, Beckett Authentications. Thank you, Upper Deck, owner of the FLIR and brands and trademarks and intellectual property. As you may be aware, the Skybox was a separate company. It got acquired by FLIR earlier this century. FLIR went out of business and their extra stuff was auctioned off. There were some uncut sheets of things, which has caused problems in the secondary market for some of the FLIR remainder stuff. I love Metal Universe. I love the design. As we've talked about with Upper Deck's dilemma in dating products, this came out in October. The season is starting, but it is a 2023-24 product. So therefore, Connor Bedard RCs, rookies, are potentially in the packs. I did get one, and I'm sending it off for grading. Connor McDavid's on the box. Really got a close look at him in the Stanley Cup, going almost all the way, and the road went through Dallas. He's a terrific player. The box talks about searching for rare Metal X Martin Sight and jambalayas. Always love the jambalayas. I've got some jambalayas on my wall. If you look at the box, which they don't do this usually, on the back of the box, they picture some of these very tough, probably more than box hits. They're probably case hits. The jambalaya, the Martin Sight, and the Metal X. I think the jambalaya looks really cool. So I'd love to get one. But how many boxes do you need to chase to get one? There's a situation where if the of getting a card are 1 per 15 packs, that's 1 per box. If it's 1 per 120 packs, that's 1 per 8 boxes. And 1 out of 480 is 1 per 32 boxes. But these packs are effectively more than $10 a piece because the box 15 packs out of $180 or $200 box was 200 new. Looks like it's floated to 180, been out about a month. So things go up, things go down. A lot of it's based on the rookie composition. And even though Connor Bedard is there, he's already got plenty of rookies that have already come out and been graded. But still, that's part of the driver. But the brands that the card companies release at the end of the year usually are either more premium or have some kind of a following, some kind of interest. Because we're on to the 24, 25s at this point. It does say, look out for rare PMG parallels of the base set. And they don't picture that on the back of the box. I've always thought those were beautiful. Collect 3 Skybox premium prospect cards per box. I don't know that this is a prospect set as much as it's a nouveau, not nouveau when it's copying something from the 90s, but very artistic, creative. And so that's what that brand evokes to me. And PMGs are part of it. However, it wasn't always so. In fact, 16 boxes a case, autographs, 1 per 35 packs. I did actually get one. So that's beating the odds. You'd get one out of every couple of boxes, perhaps. At any rate, I'm a big fan. I'm a fan of all the card companies, but I like this product and I've liked it. I would say I've liked it ever since it came out, but I want to give you a little bit of history of the brand and I think what went wrong from my historical perspective of being there. I quit day-to-day pricing in the summer of 96 and heart attack in October of 96. And so I never really went back to the day-to-day pricing, but I was still the president or CEO or whatever I was. And I still was a guy that they'd come knock on my door if they had a pricing dilemma, especially philosophical, something goofy was going on, and they just wanted to get my perspective on it. But the guys took the ball and ran with it, and I was happy with that. But that's what happened here. In 96, the Metal Universe baseball product was released to not great fanfare. I think, again, very interesting card. The base cards are terrific, but no PMGs. And now we look back and think, how could you have a Metal Universe set without PMGs? But then next was the Metal Universe Hockey that came out later on in 96, and no PMGs there either. So it really didn't hit the ground running. In fact, I look back at the hockey magazine back in March of 97. And so this is a 96, 97 set. So it's a little bit of a later release. One of the things we tried to do the price guide, even though it's number one, a price guide, but we had a lot of pictures in there in the early days, a lot of blurbs or parenthetical remarks, the finger pointing thing. It says the staggered distribution of this product meant inserts were too volatile to assess this month. Prices for these cards will be listed next issue. Furthermore, dealers reported significant collation problems with this product in the early going. Again, those are no-nos. You want to get the product out. Staggered distribution is not always good. That might have meant it wasn't selling that well. It might have meant they had some problems in the packing out. Again, with the collation problems, the creativity that all the Metal Universe sets had then and now was extreme for the time, for sure. Frankly, that Metal Universe was, I think, a flop. For hockey, it was a flop. Okay, so then they tweaked it a little bit. 97 Metal Universe Baseball, the following early spring, late winter, when that's released. Again, no PMGs. So PMGs did not exist. Now, probably late summer of 97, Metal Universe Football came out, and it was the first one to have, and so you would think, well, wow, that must have just been great. But again, not a lot of fanfare. And I'm trying to figure out, how did FLIR, Skybox go out of business when they had what could have been one of the preeminent brands in the hobby? And it still is a historical brand. Upper Deck is doing good things with it, but what went wrong? Okay, so then lastly, at least in one sense lastly, when it really took off, but not fully, but when it got more excitement was when the 97-98 Metal Universe basketball product came out. That's the one that even now is bringing the big bucks. The PMGs were numbered to 50. That was amazing, okay? But was it amazing at the time? If you look at those first 5 products I've described, they finally have PMGs in the second year. But can they really do this artistic background design of the base cards every year and not wear it out or tire it out or appear too gimmicky? Those first couple of years, I think, were really cool, but it wasn't a brand that had legs. I'm thinking at this point, again, based on the parenthetical remarks, that it may have been that none of those products sold out. Because we really don't see all the PMGs. We can't account for every serial number. And if it didn't sell out, were they remaindered? And it may have been that FLIR, again, there were several regimes, ownership changes within FLIR. It may have been one of the ownership groups did not think the remainder should be palletized and sold off for cheap. It may have been that they destroyed, which may account for some of these PMGs being so difficult now. And in the remarks in the price guide that there was sporadic, staggered distribution with poor collation, and nothing frustrates dealers and collectors if there's a lack of certainty. And Upper Deck now has brought certainty to it. If they say this is what you're going to get in the boxes, you're going to get that in the boxes, and you hope to get more. I got a really good box because I got a Connor Bedard rookie. I got some really interesting inserts, mainly the one per box ones, and I got an autograph card. So I'm very pleased. But what's wrong with the picture? Why haven't we seen Metal Universe cards every year since 96? So going over to basketball, which is where it really hit its stride. Before I leave the historical hockey, the 96-97 Metal Universe, I move forward to December of 97. The 96-97 Metal Universe hockey would have been out for a while. And again, the finger pointing thing, it's after the complete set and common card price. Inserts from Metal Universe have been selling at discounted levels, and many have been lowered accordingly below without errors. We sometimes did that when we just didn't want to have a sea of down errors. But if you look at the checklist of the set, there's no glamour rookies in the 96-97. Rookies still were a driver at that point as well. Again, nice, very cool inserts. They're very popular now, but they just didn't hit the ground running. When you have a false start with a product, the hobby may be forgiving in one sense, but perhaps not immediately. Okay, so going back to 97-98 Metal Universe basketball, where basketball really took off. I had forgotten that Reebok cards were inserted in the packs as well, one per pack that way. And it's a multiplier, but also a pretty robust lift for the PMGs. And it was always tricky for us with the first 10 of the 100 being green, even though they were numbered 1 through 10 out of the 100, and the others are 11 to 100 for the Reds. In those days, people didn't think we were crazy that the Michael Jordan PMG 97-98 came out at $500 in the high column. But there weren't bounties. They weren't out there saying, hey, I'll buy all you got. That was looked at as a high price. It was looked at as a fair price. And I think back, gee, would I have bought every one? I wasn't a buyer, but did I think that was outrageously? No, I didn't. They were really hard to get. You have to understand the PMGs, they were probably one per case, something like that. But, when the complete set is 125 cards, that's 125 cases before you're going to get to the Michael Jordan. You might get it earlier, but you can't buy a bunch of cases. You will get some, but you're not going to get necessarily a Michael Jordan. And so where are they now? I don't know where they are. So like I said, I don't think they sold out. Okay. Then we move forward to February of 98. And here's another clue in here. Card companies learn, but they were learning on the fly, I think, with Metal Universe. There's one of these box breakdowns because they sent us a box and they sent us a few sample cards just so we'd be able to picture them. But it says Metal Universe Series 1, which there only was one series. What does that say? Did they think there was going to be a second series? Okay. So collation data from a randomly selected box of 97, 98 Metal Universe Series 1. The randomly selected box, I think, was the box they sent us. And again, they weren't loading them. They wanted us to give an accurate representation. 24 packs, cards per pack 8. It says cards per box 162. That actually should be 192. And here's the problem. Percent of set, 100%. So in other words, when you bought one box of Metal Universe, you got a complete set of the base cards, which was a big deal in those days. And in those days, it meant you were done. And you got 37 extras, inserts 29. Nowadays, that is considered a low number of inserts. That's slightly more than one per pack. 0 PMGs. Titaniums were every 3 boxes, got none of them. Silver Slams, you see those a lot in the dollar boxes. That was 1 per 6 packs. Autographics, that probably was a driver, but that also was 1 per 4 boxes. Planet Metal, 1 per box. I occasionally see those Platinum Portraits, got none, but that's 1 per 12 boxes. And the Reebok bronzes, silvers, and golds, those are 1 per pack. I thought there were Reebok greens and reds too, but maybe that was in another product. Anyway, so that explains it. If you buy one box, you're done in the hobby of that day. Now you fast forward to March. Again, the hobby does not like confusion. So here's 97, 98 Metal Universe Championship preview. So that's why I said, don't be confused. This isn't a Metal Universe Series 2, entirely new set. Yeah, but it's also Metal Universe. And so it was confusing. 100 cards and 8 card packs, SRP of $269. Precious Metal Gem parallel versions are 1 per 175 packs. And that's really tough. It was considered too difficult. Hardware, insert set, Championship Galaxy, all of those are approaching 1 per case. The hobby in those days could not properly value that. There just wasn't as much money. I do think the Metal Universe and the Metal Universe Championship was confusion. They didn't do it again. And that's another reason. When the hobby has a winner, they let it ride. Let's see, Metal Universe. By May of 98, the Jordan Green PMG for the Metal Universe is up to $8,000. It just looks like a joke now, but it was accurate at the time. It's just crazy. But I think most of them did not get sold. And like I said, the Metal Universe Championship was an attempt to have a slightly different design, not make it a Series 2, but it added confusion. Metal Universe went dormant. And so I'm glad Upper Deck has resurrected it, but they've got to bring some additional creativity to it. It's not just the arena designs, Earl and Gene, who were just brilliant, but the distribution was messed up originally, and the collation was messed up, and it probably was staggered distribution, and collectors and dealers both probably got frustrated. So you would think there'd be a bunch of cases out there that haven't been opened, but I've never seen it, never heard of it. And at this point, it would have been time during COVID to bring them out. If they were available, they would have been brought out, I think. Thanks, Upper Deck. Thanks, listeners, and enjoy all cards, but Metal Universe, special place in my heart. Thanks. Bye.
The man in the house of cards. The man in the house of cards. The man in the house of cards is doing